Welcome to Soltron. I'm just going to do a really quick update on Metal Cardbot Dexter here, since I've customized him since my last video. So one thing I want to go over is I actually had his crane mistransform, so it actually should be like this, I'm pretty sure, which is nice, which is a lot cleaner than having this, which makes him more back heavy. This like keeps his center of gravity a little bit better, so he's not so back heavy. And then it makes like a cool spike on his back. I think that's a pretty good way of storing it. So you can see the couple things that I did to this guy. I lowered this part, so you can see this is how it originally looked. So the right side is all original. This is the customized side. And then you can see I gave him like wrist articulation, and his fist is not like buried in his forearm anymore. So I think that turned out pretty well. So now he's got ball joint wrist, so he can move his fist around. And then I think that looks a lot better than just having his fist kind of buried where you can't really see it. And then the other thing I did was now his knee is down here. And then he's got this knee pad, which kind of goes like this. Instead of having just the knee pad be stuck on his thigh and having a knee like that, which I think also looks fine, but I just like the idea of being able to actually use this knee pad. And then plus, since I did a ball joint on that, now he has a thigh swivel, which the original figure did not have. Even though this piece of plastic is separate from this, they could have easily put a mushroom peg right there and given him a thigh swivel. Oh yeah, and the other thing I did was there is some black plastic there. I just trimmed it, so now he's got this much ankle tilt as opposed to originally he only has this much. You can see this is the black plastic that gets in the way. You can kind of see. So now he's got way more ankle tilt than he originally had. So those are pretty much all the mods I did on this guy. I'll put him into his vehicle mode so you can see this. It does affect his alt mode, unfortunately, because his proportions are a little bit different now. And then his legs are bulkier, so he can't transform as well as he used to, but I think it's worth it for better looking robot mode. And now you can see he can basically pull off this pose from the back of the box. So now his leg looks like it does on the box with the knee armor, and now he can actually fold his fist up and it's not embedded in his forearm. Oh yeah, and then let's look at this too, because somebody suggested, oh, maybe his drill tank is supposed to look like this. So this is just instead of the way that I had it transformed, which this looks okay too. I don't think it looks better. It just looks good too, but it's the treads still don't sit flush this way either. And then like I don't know, for me it kind of annoys me when drill tanks are like way wider in the back. It just doesn't make sense. It makes more sense that they're sleek, because they should not be wider than the drill bit. Otherwise, how they just get stuck here when they're burrowing through the ground and stuck here. But I think this does look cooler, just not as much, not as like aerodynamic. And then because that last customizing video took a long time, let's just go over this guy real fast. So yeah, he has his ball joints. You can see I glued his armor panels onto the back of his forearms now. And then the other thing I did was I gave him this ball joint toe, which kind of sticks out a lot. But now when he's in a wider pose, he can actually have his foot basically on the ground. It's a little bit ugly. I think I made it stick out too far. But I wanted his foot to be like a little bit bigger, because this is a big robot and this foot is just too small. All right, and then here he is in alt mode. You can see that this leg just makes his alt mode really janky, so it sticks out as opposed to the original leg. Just is a lot more snug. It looks a lot better. You can see from the bottom kind of what the problem is just his chest gets in the way of this thing, whereas his skinny black leg was like designed to fit there exactly. So you can see that's kind of a mess. So I can either have crooked treads, or I can move his leg out a little bit further so everything's a little bit more straight, but then everything ends up a little bit further back. So like now this wheel, this tire is like way further back as opposed to the original where it's just this far back. I guess it's not that much further. And then of course his toe doesn't fold up nice and snug against his leg anymore because I shortened the black part. So there's definitely like a compromise in the vehicle mode. And then the other thing you might have noticed I did was I actually changed out his eye, because this was his original eye. And then if you just unscrew this, you can actually just take his eye out. And then what did I do? I cut out the eye from the box right there, and I just slid that into his eye, which I think is a cooler looking eye. I'm not sure. I don't know. This eye is just a little bit too cartoony. I think I like this one a little bit better, even though it's a little bit too small. But yeah, that pretty much covers the mods I did to this guy. I'm going to do his other leg. I definitely need to explore a little bit on how to make his modified leg fit a little bit better. And then I'll probably put some panels here to hide the ball joint, just to clean things up a little bit and make him look a little nicer, more cohesive. And then I'm thinking about, since this fist just sticks out now, I was thinking about like cutting this part so his fist can go backwards instead of like hanging out to the side like this. But then that'll cut like into his forearm, which kind of compromises his robot mode. So I'll probably just leave that. But yeah, he's pretty much done. That's how that mod's gonna look. I think, yeah, he pays for it in his alt mode, but oh well, that's not as important to me as the robot mode. All right, see you in the next one.